everyone, it's Jen here. So I am a whole week behind schedule on this bump date. I will not be going over last week's bump date just because there's really no change between last week and this week in cravings or symptom wise. The only thing that would have changed is probably the baby's estimated size and weight, which isn't a huge difference. So I'm just gonna start it off like as if I hadn't missed a week, but I did, and I'm sorry for that. But like I said, there really wasn't no big change. So for this week, I am 29 weeks and on 1 day. Sorry. That looks like an orange gummy bear.
Orange gummy bear?
Yeah. Alright, so 29 weeks and 1 day. I am on day 204, and I have 76 days more, or 76 days till due date. There we go. Let's see, cravings. The only cravings I've had is still just the ice cream. Before it was the Napoleon sandwiches. I've kind of not really gotten sick of them, just my fridge is really small and it's very tiny and doesn't keep things frozen too well. So whenever I buy the sandwiches in a box where it comes with like 12 of them, I have to like eat them super fast, otherwise they kind of melt in my fridge and then they're no good. So because of that, I kind of still craving the ice cream, but realistically know that I can't have those, or I can, but I would have to like buy one sandwich at a time, and that's kind of time consuming. So the second type of ice cream that I've been craving is the mint chocolate chip ice cream, or just chocolate. But basically any ice cream will do, but those are just my favorites, which is the mint chocolate chip or just chocolate, and the Napoleon. But the past couple of days, I want to say the past 3 days, I've been craving the sherbet ice creams. So I'm planning on getting some of that probably later on today or tomorrow. My daughter has actually never had sherbet ice cream, so that'll be interesting. And then for symptoms, I don't really have any, although I do have some medical stuff that I want to talk about, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get this bump date first. So the baby is estimating at 15.25 inches, which is roughly the size of a butternut squash, and should be weighing about 2.5 pounds, give or take. The app that I use just talked about movement, that for the next 3 months, he should be growing and just basically coming into his size that he will be when he's born. And because of that, the amount of room that he will have in my womb will get smaller and smaller, so I might notice a decrease in his movements. And because of that, I should start monitoring the movements. So basically what that means, for those who watch this who don't know, is you pick a time of day and you have to make sure that it's the same time every day. You have to stay consistent. It has to be like a consistent pattern every day. The app recommends between 7 and 12, 7 in the afternoon and 7 in the evening to 12 midnight. Somewhere in between, you're going to want to pick an hour to 2 hours to monitor the baby's movement. And what you do, as long as basically you can either write it like a tally mark, or you can, like me, I have an app that has what they call a kick counter on it, and basically every time you feel a jab or a kick, you would document it, and as long as you get 10 of them within the first hour, everything is fine. You know that he or she is going to be okay. Now, let's say 2 hours go by and you haven't felt any movement, or it's less than 10 kicks, then there's a cause for concern, and they like for you to go to your nearest labor and delivery to be monitored by monitors and stuff like that to make sure everything is okay with the baby and that he's not under stress or anything like that. So basically the app just recommends picking between 7 and 12 midnight and just either finding a sitting position with your feet up or a laying on your side position, and you just monitor it. And as long as you get 10 movements within the first hour, everything is fine. They like for you to monitor for at least 2 hours. That's why they say at night, because it's the time when you're winding down, so it's not interrupting your daily routine if you've got something now. For me, it's usually about 10, 11 o'clock at night is when I'm fully at a rest point where I'm not needing to do anything. Like, I don't need to do any dishes, I don't need to clean up, I'm just winding down for bed and going to bed. So that's usually when I do it. I started my kick counters last week because when I went to the emergency room for the spotting and stuff that I was having, they gave me the paper and said they wanted me to go ahead and start monitoring him, his movements and stuff. Which leaves me now, we're done with the actual bump date, so now I can go into my medical stuff. So, one of the reasons why I didn't do last week's video was because I was still organizing my daughter's room and stuff and doing things like that. But I was also having some medical issues. I had spotting, I had cramping, I had dizzy spells, lightheaded spells. I almost fainted at work. So needless to say, it was just not a good week last week, which is why I did not vlog anything. This week, I'm a little bit better. Today, I did have a doctor's appointment, so they checked my cervix. It is closed. It's a gummy, baby. They checked my cervix. It is closed, so there's no cause for concern for that from what they can see. Now, I do have a sonogram scheduled for September 12th. That was the earliest they could get me in. So on September 12th, not only will they be checking his growth, so making sure his skull, his heart, his lungs, and all that are the proper size for where he is gestationally, but they also want to check my waters. They're going to check my waters to make sure I'm not having any trouble with that. But they also, because I've been having the spotting, even though my cervix looks closed, it could be thinning. And if it's thinning, then I might end up being put on bed rest. But until then, they're just going to check to see if it is thinning on that day. But until then, I do have work restrictions to where, okay, the way my job works is Monday through Friday, you work 8 hours, and then every other weekend, so every other Saturday and Sunday, it's a 12 to 15 hour work shift. Now, I have noticed that after my 8-hour work shifts, it does start to get difficult toward the end of the 8 hours. So, like, I do fine the first 5 or 6 hours, but during the last 2 or 3 hours of my 8-hour shifts, I start cramping, I get a lot of pressure, and then when I get home and I've rested for about 30-40 minutes, I get up to go to the restroom, and that's when I get the spotting to happen. So I do think it's related to being on my feet the whole time I'm at work. And so you can imagine if just the 8 hours causes that. My last 12 to 15 hour shift that I had to do at work, I had to request to leave early, which they almost didn't want to let me go. But when I explained to them how I was feeling and that I was concerned and that I didn't care, that my health and the health of my unborn child was more important than what they wanted me to do, they were like, okay, well, if you feel like you have to go, then go ahead and go. But we need a medical note. So that was one of the things that I had to talk to my doctor about today. And sure enough, because I've been having the spotting and I had the cramping and stuff, and she's worried about the thinning, She did give me a work restriction for the weekends. The weekends, I can no longer work the 12 to 15 hour weekends. They have to be only 8 hours. And then during the 8-hour shifts, whether it's the weekend or during the week, I have to sit down. I have to take 15-minute breaks every 2 hours. We're hoping if my cervix is thinning, that will help from it thinning even more. And if I start to notice even more bleeding or anything like that, then or after that sonogram, I think they're gonna give me another sonogram. Like, if everything shows that it's not thinning, I'll be fine. And then if it is thinning, I think we're gonna do this schedule thing for 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna have another sonogram. And if it shows that it thinned even more, even with my reduced schedule and with my work restriction, then I'm gonna end up being put on bed rest for the rest of my pregnancy, which will suck. But yeah, so there's that part of the medical update. And then the other part is I had blood work done on Tuesday, and that came back showing that I am anemic, which is why I was getting the lightheaded and dizzy and almost fainting spells. So because I am showing that I am anemic, I now am...
Mama has lipstick.
Yeah, lipstick.
Yeah, it's purple.
It's purple? Okay, pretty.
Purple.
Because I am anemic, I am not on top of my prenatal vitamin, which has some supplement of iron in it to begin with. I am now on a separate iron supplement. So I've got my prenatal, and now I've got another iron pill on top of that. And then this iron pill that I'm taking is notorious for making your stools hard or even making you constipated. So I am on medication for stool softeners. So I've got iron and a stool softener that I have to take on top of my prenatal. And then when I was checked to make sure my cervix was closed and stuff, they did notice that I had a little bit of an infection going on down there. And I also had urine taken, and I have a UTI, so now I've got 2 antibiotics for that. I've got 1 antibiotic for the UTI and 1 antibiotic for my infection that is going on. So in total, I'm taking 5 medications now, daily, for the next. The antibiotic one, I only have to take 1 pill twice a day for 7 days. And then the other antibiotic, I take 1 pill twice a day for 10 days. So once I get those done, my infections and stuff should be gone. And then, my other ones, I pretty much, the iron, the stool softener, and my prenatals, I will continue to take during the rest of my pregnancy, after I give birth. During my pregnancy, and then also still continue, I think, for a whole month after I give birth. Just to make sure that, because, you know, after you give birth, your body goes through all these hormones and stuff, and your body changes and all that, so they want to make sure that after I give birth, even if I'm not anemic anymore, they just want to make sure that everything is still okay. So I have those for the next two I can't think anymore. But yeah, I have to take the iron. And of course, the prenatals you always take during and after, just especially if you're going to be breastfeeding, you take the prenatals. That way, not only is your body getting enough nutrients, but you also still give your baby the nutrients through your breast milk if you're breastfeeding. But I will also continue to take the iron pills to make sure that I am okay. So there's that. So I've got lots of medical stuff going on. But other than that, everything else is great. He's fine. There's until I had the sonogram to make sure that he's growing properly. His heartbeat was 147 beats today, and he's been moving all day today. And Um, I have noticed that he is really low, or I don't want to say he's low, I'll put it this way. He kicks really low. So with my girls, here, if I can show you, I felt a lot of their kicks like up in here, and I remember I could watch and I could see like movement, like I could see when they moved and stuff. I think he's in what they call a breech, one of the breech positions, and I think he's in the one where he's sideways, but instead of his feet being up this way, his feet and arms are down this way, because all the movement I feel is down here. And especially when I'm standing and I'm walking, oh my god, it's so difficult. Because some of the times it's like really low, like in, you know, you found Hello Kitty in my basically my crotch area, and there's even times where it feels like he's kicking my tailbone. Like seriously, that's how low he is. So I don't get the movement up here like I did with the girls. No, it's all down here and lower. And sometimes it hurts because, you know, like bladder and all that. Yeah, it hurts sometimes. So his movements are great because I can. But yeah, so other than that, everything is good. I think that is going to be it for today's bump date and medical stuff. Yeah. I don't know if I want to show you guys their finished room in this vlog or if I should do it separately, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it in this vlog. So you're also getting a bonus thing. I finished organizing my daughter's room. They now are sharing a room. Ow, I've been sitting on my foot for too long. It's asleep. Trying to walk on it. Okay. So. Oh. They are now sharing a room. My 2-year-old is no longer in the crib. We bought a bunk bed, and so don't know if you guys watched previous video where I showed you what my daughter's room looked like before, but if you did, you'll see the difference. If you haven't, that's okay. This point of the video won't make sense to you because you won't know what her room would have looked like before, and I don't quite know how to do a before and after thing on here. So you want to know what it looked like before? I think it was 3 or 4 videos before this one. Go back and watch it, and then come back and watch this one, and you'll understand. So basically, this part, the owl stuff and Rosie's name was above the crib in mine and my husband's room. That was her baby stuff, and to make her realize it's broken, to make her realize that this was now going to be her room instead of getting rid of it, I just re-put it up in here and put her name back on the wall and stuff like that. So that was to help transition her and making her realize that this was now also going to be her room and not just her sister's room. So before there was a nice big bed right here. Now we got the bunk beds. My 8-year-old sleeps on top. 2-year-old sleeps on bottom. That big white dresser right there used to be over here. So we were able to move it. And then these towers were also, these plastic drawers were hers. So they were right next to the crib in mine and my husband's room. They are now over here because this is her room, so those are her clothes. These 2 towers right here are toy towers. They are labeled. You can't see them in the video, but they are labeled according to what kind of toys need to go in them. And then there's the big toy box, that the bigger toys that don't fit in those drawers to go into. Now, I'm not going to show you the spot where the dresser used to be because it's a desk, and right now this desk is a huge mess, and I'm a little embarrassed to show it on camera. But there's a desk now here that was actually in my husband's room, taking up space. So now that's in the living room where it was supposed to be when we first bought it, but then we realized her dresser didn't fit in her room with the big bed, and so all this other stuff happened. Anyways, so that's finally in the living room where it's supposed to be. And then we don't have a storage, nor do we want to pay for a storage to only hold one thing. So until we get our own place, my daughter, my 8-year-old, before she, like I said, before she had the bunk beds, was in a big full bed, and that was shown in the previous videos. So in order for the bunk bed to go in her room, we had to move the full bed into our room, and it is not the bed that we are using. We ended up storing it up against that wall. So this gray thing right here is actually her box, and then right behind it is her mattress, and that's where it's going to stay until we move out and get our own place. Now the desk used to be right here, and as you can see, it is now moved, so now I have this big open space. It will not be a big open space for too much longer, because that is where his swing that I'm planning on buying him is going to be stored, and it's going to be movable. So like at night, if I can't get him to go to sleep right away, I can put him in the swing in here, and then during the day when I'm in the living room, I can move the swing into the living room. But officially that wall where the desk was is going to be its storage place, I guess you can say. With that being said, with my daughter, my 2-year-old finally sharing the room with my 8-year-old, the crib area has now been transformed into our son's nursery corner thing. Now his nursery, I was going to do a nursery reveal video, which I probably still will do because it's not done. So I've got the crib, and I've got my paintings that I drew and painted by hand up on the wall, but his name is not on the wall, and I don't have any crib sheets in his crib. And right now his crib is kind of being used as a clothes area. My husband has a habit of wearing a shirt one day, he takes it off, puts it over, and decides, oh, I might want to wear this in 2 or 3 more days. You know how guys are. So he doesn't put them in the dirty clothes. He hangs them over the crib because he's like, I might wear these again this week or whatever. So it's kind of become, because we don't have a closet, as you can tell, these are like jackets and like really pretty dresses that my 2-year-old and my 8-year-old wear that I can't really fold because we don't have a closet. So all of our clothes are folded in a dresser or a plastic storage drawer or something like that. And because of that, if there's an outfit that my husband wants to rewear, instead of him folding it back up and putting it in the drawers with clean clothes, he just lays it over the crib. So that will stop when the baby is here, but until then, his crib kind of looks a mess. But his wall is up, so we got Iron Man, Wolverine, Captain America, Thor. There's all of them together, and then you've got Batman, Hulk, Superman, and Spider-Man. And then that big empty space right there is going to be where his name will go, which my husband has finally agreed on. There's going to be a separate video for that. I probably won't reveal his name to you guys until I have it up on the wall. That'll probably be how I reveal his name to you guys. But yeah, so here's the crib. As like I said, it's right now it's just like a storage area. Those boxes are actually for my 2-year-old because her birthday, she turns 3 next Friday. So when next week's vlog, it'll actually be her birthday. And those boxes are from my mother. She lives in California, and those are her birthday presents from her. I have to get them wrapped. I know I kind of already showed you guys my baby bump, but to in the video, I'll go ahead and do my official baby bump showing thing. So if I can get Lily, want to help me do my baby bump shot? So I'm gonna get, of course, Lily to help because she likes doing that part. So say hi. Hi. All right. So we're gonna do this, and then I'm gonna end the vlog, and I will see y'all next week. So bring it down. So week baby bump, which is roughly 7 months and 1 week. So here's my right side with the shirt on. Here's the front. And here's my left side. And then no shirt. Left, front. You can definitely notice my stretch marks now. And my right. So all his movements are down here, not up here. But yeah, so you can definitely notice all my stretch marks this time. They're starting to be a lot more noticeable. They're getting angry and red again. So gotta love that. So anyway, that is it for this vlog. Hopefully, sorry if it was too long for y'all. If y'all stayed to the end, awesome. If not, no big deal. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you guys would like to know or for me to reiterate or go over, or if you're confused about something I've talked about, because I was kind of spacey a little bit, just leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I will see y'all next week. Bye.